Hey everybody, Randy Reviews It here. So today we're going to be talking about the Beretta PX4 Storm. Recently this gun has seen kind of a resurgence thanks to kind of Ernest Langdon and everyone over at Langdon Tactical because this gun came out back in 2004, and if you look at it in general, this gun's unloaded, but it's a pretty ugly looking gun. So as far as like sex appeal, this thing has almost none. But the appeal of the technology and the gun itself got kind of Ernest Langdon interested, and from there he used his shop, Langdon Tactical, to make this gun a more impressive version. So what I did is I wanted to try just the regular version. So this is just a Beretta PX4 Storm. It's got a 4-inch barrel. I bought this used on Gunbroker. You can find some deals out there. This one cost me, I think, $419 before like shipping and taxes, and that sort of thing. But I bought it used, so you can see there was definitely some wear on the slide, on the bottom of the frame. The mag finish is a little rough. So the finish in general on this gun was not very well done, which is why I can understand why Langdon Tactical does an NP3 coating option for it. But why is this gun interesting? So the key feature of this gun is this right here. So you see that barrel? It's spinning. So it's got a rotating barrel mechanism, and it makes the recoil impulse on this very, very pleasant. So my experience with the Beretta Storm series, I used to mock people for buying these, I'll be honest. And then my cousin got one. God, it's been 10 years ago. These came out in 2004, by the way. I think my cousin got one 10 or 12 years ago at least, and he got it in 40 Smith & Wesson. And 40 Smith & Wesson is a snappy round, regardless. But there's only been 2 guns that I thought shot 40 Smith & Wesson well, and I own one of them. And that's the HK VP40 that I've tried. I'm sure the USPs or some of those other ones also shoot 40 well because HK overbuilds everything. But I was blown away by the recoil impulse on the Beretta Storm in 40. It's very tolerable, it's very pleasant to shoot. I got this one in 9 because I was like, all right, let's push the limits here. Let's see how soft shooting of a gun we can get. I'm going to send this into Langdon Tactical. So I'm going to bought this, like I said, used to Langdon Tactical. What they do on their version, so this is the original version, and it's got a safety decocker on here. So when you decock it, it's also on safety. Nothing happens. There's no feedback. You have to push the lever back up before it goes into a double action mode that you can use, or else you can't carry it cocked and locked because the hammer won't stay back when it's in safe mode. So it must have been designed originally for some of those police forces where they want to carry with the safety in double action mode to be extra safe because they don't trust their police force. So what Langdon does, and what I've seen a lot of home people do, including my cousin, is they can take this safety and turn it to a decocker only. Because one thing I will say after shooting this, flipping that back off of safety is the hardest part. The decocking is fine, the way that the levers are designed. So if you can see this lever here, there's a little bit more meat on the way down, but if you wanted to swoop up to take it off safety, there isn't as much. So the decocking works well, but taking it off safety is a lot harder than you'd think. And what Langdon does is they throw a lower profile kind of safety decocker on here, but it's like a decocker only. So that's very cool. They add an optic, they do some trigger work, but Ernest Langdon has 100,000 rounds through his thing, and he even cracked the barrel, I believe, or something around it, and it still worked. Like, he didn't know he broke it. until he took it apart and was cleaning it. So the reliability of these guns is pretty legendary. Now that Langdon's working on them, they're seeing somewhat of a resurgence. I'm not sure how long that'll last, given just the sex appeal of these guns is non-existent. But I will say this, it's very soft shooting, but compared to my HK P30s, it doesn't shoot soft enough that I was like blown away by it. Like, it definitely shoots softer than a lot of guns. You know, obviously the PDP, which I thought was pretty snappy, or at least the original PDP, it shoots softer than my PPQ. It's definitely a very soft shooter because of that rotating barrel. So let's jump into a breakdown video and kind of show you what's going on inside of this gun, and then we'll come back and wrap it up with a conclusion here. Hey everybody, so the takedown part of this. So like any other gun, you just pull these levers down and then send it forward and the slide will come apart. So let's get into what's going on here. So this is the interesting part here. It's got this little like kind of carrier key thing almost, where that's what the rotating barrel marks as far as what it pushes up against to rotate the way it does. And you can see in here that it rotates within that. So this goes on the back of the guide rod and clips in to the barrel here, and then that little lug there is what it uses to push against, so that when the gun unlocks, it rotates as well. So here's the guide rod, and so you see on the end here, there's not the traditional kind of little round peg that fits into the barrel. Instead, that little carrier part fits onto the back end of this there. So now to take this apart further, the interesting part of this. So here's the bottom of that barrel. So you can see it locks into that lug there and then rotates here. And it's got kind of an interesting like ramp and feed and everything like that. So this feed ramp is down at the bottom, and then when it rotates, it unlocks and then ejects. So it's pretty interesting. The top of the slide nothing remarkable. Looks like any other slide on a hammer fired gun. The trigger mechanism looks pretty regular here as well. So nothing to write home about, just a polymer frame. You can see the extractor and stuff like that. One thing I'll note is when you put the slide back on, you want to make like it's going to push this little lever down. Like, you got to watch to make sure that that doesn't get caught on the back of the slide. But other than that, it's really simple how they designed this rotating barrel, but it's so effective on recoil management that I hope we see other systems come out with it. So let's put this back together really quick. Just goes in like so. Sorry if I'm in the way of the camera here. But then you just put that onto the guide rod. And let's see, do I have that barrel right? There we go. So it just locks in kind of like that. Take it on, slide it on, and I didn't have that thing catch, but then bracket locks in, not going forward anymore. If you want to take it apart, you just grab these and it comes right off. You don't have to actually pull the trigger or anything. So that's pretty nice too about it. You hear it click back in. We're good to go. Decock it. Just to kind of show you again closer, these levers, like to swoop down on them, you get kind of that flat edge there with those grooves. But to swoop back up, it's kind of like a taper that gets a little bit bigger. So if you see here, your thumb just kind of wants to slide off of it, which is what I didn't like. So you really have to noticeably hit that. It's not like a 1911 safety where it's intuitive and you just flick your thumb up and it comes off safety. So I don't know why the safety was designed like that, but I think that's one of the hardest guns to actually actuate the safety away, to take it off safety. This has been one of the hardest guns. So I see why a lot of people have gone with a decocker only style on these. Let me get out a scale here and get some trigger weight action in here. Okay, so we got that racked up. I got just a quick trigger scale here, manual one. So we're sitting at right at 5 pounds. Do it again just to confirm. Ooh, not great. I'll do that again. Yeah, 5 pounds. That's what we're sitting at with this. So it's got a little lighter trigger than the HKP30 in the single action. The double action, let's see what that is. So the double action on this. Ooh, my trigger pull gun. It's definitely more than 8 pounds, which is all this goes to. So yeah, the double action on here, I would say it's probably around that 12 mark, kind of like the HKP30. It's not awful. I will say it's pretty smooth to go through. A single action on this, just to show you. About that much take up, you hit the wall, it breaks pretty easy. Let's look at reset. So reset's not the worst that I felt. It's definitely a better reset than HKP30 out of the box, or as far as less travel. It's very tactile, and then you're right back on it. I will say that when I was doing doubles with this gun, to get the trigger on that second shot was very, very easy and very, very quick. The sights on this are kind of these smaller, the way that it fits in there. They're narrower, so it's pretty accurate. It's not like the best self-defense iron sights that I've seen. You can see on this gun, I bought it used. Again, there's a little bit of wear and tear on it. But I'm going to have it coated by Langdon, get the trigger done, get the decocker done, and get a red dot on it. So let's jump into the conclusion. Hey everyone, so we're back. So in conclusion, the Beretta PX4 Storm. I think if you're still into hammer guns, which I've currently gotten back into after some very good experiences lately, the Beretta PX4 Storm is a pretty big contender. One, because it's, I think, a little bit more carryable than the Beretta 92. You know, you got your 4-inch barrel, you got kind of a sleeker style. You got the polymer frame that makes it a little bit more lightweight. You got the rotating barrel that makes it smooth to shoot. After I send this into Langdon to get done, throw a red dot on there, get cleaned up, get the decocker. I'm sure it'll be really nice as far as carrying, and I probably will keep and carry this. I bought this gun originally just because I had to know, and I want to see what Langdon can do to it. I want to know how soft it shot, And so far, I'm impressed, but I'm not blown away. Do I think we'll see a huge resurgence on these? Probably not. But for the group of people that are interested in them, they're probably very happy that this gun exists. I would like to see Beretta come back with something that uses this rotating barrel, because it does have a lot of merit to it. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. Take care.